Hey, what's up guys? Today let's talk about closures in JavaScript. So as usual, rather than talking about it, if I show you a few examples, I think you'd get a better idea of it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll just open up my terminal and then as usual make a new directory for this closures examples. Okay, and then I'll cd into this. Okay, and then now what I will do is open this up in my VS Code editor. Okay, now we just have the package.json file. I'll create a new file, index.js, where we'll write the code. Okay, so to start off simply, I'll just show you a demo of I'll have a function, maybe function name would be function1. Okay, and the params, it won't take any params. And then what this will have is it will have a variable, some text. Okay, and this would have my name, Raja. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and make another function inside this where function2. I'll just make this a bit bigger so that you guys can. Okay, and this will be function2. It will have another function. It won't take anything. Okay, and this will simply have a console.log from function2 plus some text. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll call this function2. I'll call this function1 so that this function gets called. Okay, now if I just run this node index.js, what I'll get is this from function2 Raja, right? So Raja is a variable outside of the scope of this function block and inside this function, right? So this is actually called closures. This function is able to access a variable, the value of a variable which is outside of it, right? Outside the scope of it. This is called closures. This is an excellent functionality in JavaScript. So just to prove my point, I'll just go ahead and change this here, so that I'm changing this here. See, what I'll give is a Brian. Okay. So I have declared a variable here and I've initialized it to Raja. Then what I'm doing is declared another function here which makes use of that variable. Then I am just changing that variable value and then calling that function. So now if you see, you get it as Brian, right? So you get it, right? This is not something that happens during function execution. This is something for real. I mean, like, the function can actually make use of this variable wherever it gets changed, right? So this is a wonderful concept or wonderful functionality of JavaScript. Now to better illustrate my point, I'll just show you something different, something else, I mean, some global text. Okay, and this will be, I don't know, wins. Okay, so what I'll do is this global values also could be accessed inside the function, present inside another function. Okay, and then the same can be accessed from here also, console, since it is global, obviously, console.log from function1 plus some global text. Okay, now if I run, you can see, right, from function 2 wins, from function 1 wins. This global text can be accessed both places. And even if I change this here, some global text equal to Tom, and run, it gets changed, right? So this is the closure functionality in JavaScript. Variable can be accessed even if it's outside the outside the scope of the function that's accessing it, or if it's a global variable. In case it's a global variable, all the other functions declared in the program could be able to access that global variable. So okay, now suppose this is a wonderful concept, right? So why is this not used in many large scale applications? As usual, this has drawbacks too. I mean, more than one drawback too. So I'll just explain one drawback of a closure in this video. Okay, the drawback is that this is a global variable, right? Which means that it can be used anywhere in the program, in the following program. So if this is a function and this is a function that's present inside this function, right? So suppose I'm changing the global variable here. What I'll do is some global text equal to Dominic. Okay, Dominic. And then I'm saving it here. Now I'm changing it. Now watch what happens. You can see this, right? Function 1 Dominic, function 2 Dominic, which means that as this I'll remove so that there is less confusion. As you can see, now what happens is that this variable is initialized with the value wins, and then it comes here, it calls up this function. If it calls up this function, this variable gets changed to Dominic, right? And then while Dominic or Dominic, whatever. Okay, and then when it console.logs, when it prints it on the console, it is Dominic, right? Okay, now while calling this console.log, it has changed the value to Dominic, the global text value to Dominic. So obviously it reflects the same here also. So you get my point, right? Even though it has been changed, reinitialized here to Tom before calling this function, once you call this function, this function calls this function, makes a function call to this, and while going through this function, the global variable is getting changed to Dominic. So this global variable is present outside of both these function scopes, but in case this value of this global variable changes inside any of this function, it changes everywhere, it changes globally, right? This concept, this small concept is called, this drawback is called a leak. So the leaks in large scale applications can't be eradicated completely, but it should be minimized as much as possible. So closures, if not utilized properly, can always lead to leaks. Now you might wonder what's the problem with the changing this one. We should be just careful about changing or something like that. So in this case, it is a simple function, so it doesn't make much of a difference, and it's just changing some value, right? So what if you had a global variable that's an array, and then it keeps storing some values? So what if the values, or what if the array gets reordered in some other local function which makes use of that array? And if that is done, then what about all the other functions making use of that same array? So it could lead to a bigger and bigger headache in a large scale application, right? So leaks should be prevented as much as possible in any application. This is one drawback of closures. And I could probably show you examples with numbers as well, but you get the basic idea of closures, right? This is the concept of closures in JavaScript, and this would be rather helpful while writing functional JavaScript. So this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about in this video, and about closures. If you found this video helpful, kindly share it and help someone else too. And if you like my video, just hit thumbs up, and just stay subscribed to my channel to watch more videos from me. So yeah, that's it guys. I guess I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.